I'm kind of lacking a real intro to this video, but I figured it's about time that I share my updated Korean study routine because the old one just isn't doing it. I stand behind the principles, but the execution was lacking, to say the least. So I made some changes, optimized a few things, and here we go, a new study routine. I like to start off my day knocking out the first round of Anki reviews. It's an activity that ideally doesn't take more than 10 minutes and can easily be done while getting ready in the morning. It also sets the right tone for the day, making you feel accomplished yet wishing for more proficiency.
잊지 마.
잊지 마.
있다.
있다.
도와주세요.
도와주세요.
나중에. 제발.
제발.
제발. 벌써.
벌써.
벌써. 나중에.
I just finished my first round of Anki reviews. There were quite a lot of cards I had to fail because I had no idea what they were, but that's okay, I'm gonna have some more rounds later today. Generally speaking, I would say that I am pretty casual with my Anki. I don't sweat it. It's okay if I fail a few cards or even quite a few cards. My retention rate is pretty low, but that's just because Anki is like a supplement for my reading to make reading easier. It's not so. Anki isn't supposed to make me learn the words. It's supposed to make my brain go, oh, okay, we've seen that word before, what could it be? And then when I see it in reading, that's when I really understand and remember the words. Even though I am pretty casual with how I treat failing cards, I would say that I'm pretty strict with doing my reviews every day. Because if you don't do your reviews, Anki's gonna punish that pretty hard. And it's so important for especially beginners to just keep going, keep the ball rolling, get into that study routine. I do feel like that leads to a lot of anxiety and stress about Anki further down the road. Especially for advanced learners, it's so easy for them to just get so stressed about their Anki streak. But honestly, at that point, you shouldn't even need to review all the cards anymore. At that point, you should honestly just be a reader. But anyways, we're at the beginner stage right now, so that doesn't matter. We just do Anki to familiarize ourselves with the word, and then when we read, that is when we learn the words. Earlier this year, I talked about how I didn't like doing Anki and how I stopped using it because I thought that I had reached a point where just reading was going to be enough to learn new words. I came to realize that I was far from that point, and I still am, which is why a while ago I decided to reintroduce Anki to my study routine. I'm still not the biggest fan, but I'm more and more starting to see the benefits that using Anki has and how well it works in tandem with reading. My goal, after all, is to leave behind the beginner stage, and in order to achieve that, it would be foolish to not make use of Anki, even if it is not always the most fun. JK, I don't even like my laptop for reading. I'm a phone reader.
우리 집 고양이, 우리 가족은 어렸을 때부터 개는 키워.
I just spent 40 or so minutes reading. I went through one of the stories in the graded readers, and it takes me so long, but it's such a good activity. Reading is really intense, but it's so good for beginners just because it's so dense and you have to make all these connections, and I don't know, it just personally it makes me really tired, but I love it because I feel like I'm learning so much. I can see my known words go up every time I read, and recognizing words that I've seen on Anki before is one of the most rewarding feelings because it's wow, I've already seen that word, and then I can actually remember it in a context. So this part kind of concludes the base study routine, something that I try to do every single day, about 10 to 15 minutes of Anki, at least doing my reviews. I don't do new cards every single day. I try to on most days, but sometimes I just don't feel like trying to remember new words, so I'll skip that. But I do my reviews almost every day. And then reading, even if it's just like 20 minutes, reading is honestly amazing. And so I try to do that every day. And everything that comes after that will be watching K-dramas, or I'll be doing some grammar study, or I might have a second reading session in the evening. For the K-dramas, which I consider my listening practice, usually I'll watch the 15-minute short episode K-dramas on YouTube, and I think these are way easier to stay focused on than like the long 40-minute episodes. I also try to find dramas that have hard Korean subs and English soft subs, just so that I can make sure I actually know what's going on. I can follow the story, because why else would I watch something if I don't understand it? And my objective with watching K-dramas is not really trying to learn new things, because my knowledge just isn't there yet. I'm really just trying to find words that, or hear words that I've already encountered in my reading or Anki, and then see how like they connect in the sentence or how they're used. But I think to learn new things, it's so much better to just read and do Anki rather than trying to watch hours and hours of K-dramas or whatever it is and trying to figure out these new words. I feel like that's something that works better when you're already at an intermediate level and you can understand most of what's being said, which is not where I'm currently at. I don't understand almost anything of what is being said. That is also why I don't consider the K-drama watching a major part of my study routine. If I am given the choice, if I only have like 20 minutes, I will rather read for 20 minutes than watch for 20 minutes. But if I have already done my reading, done my Anki, and I still have some time left, that is when I try to go out, find some K-drama, and just enjoy the language. For grammar study, which I'm not going to do today, but I would definitely recommend that it is at least part of every beginner study routine. What I usually do is I go on the Talk to Me in Korean website, which I just use the free version. I haven't used the paid version, so I don't know if that's any better. But I go on that website, and then there are different levels, and then in each level there's about 25 to 30 units. And each unit is one grammar aspect, which I think is really small portion sizes, which I think is amazing, honestly. So every study session, I will pick out a few units that I go through, look at the example sentence, try to understand the grammar, like the thought behind it, and just take some notes. And then I move on to the next unit and to the next unit until I don't really feel like studying any grammar anymore. I don't think grammar study is necessary every single day, but especially in the beginning, there's essentially every single grammar aspect in the language is going to be new. And so every little bit that you learn will give your reading comprehension a huge boost, which then in turn makes reading a lot easier, which then again makes learning new words easier. And it's just this cycle that keeps going, and it just makes language learning a whole lot more fun. So the priorities in a beginner study routine should look something like this. You have vocabulary and reading at the base. You then have some grammar study that you do somewhat regularly, but not every single day. This is like the golden triangle of comprehension boost. And then on top of that, you have listening practice, which for me is K-dramas, for others that might be cooking videos or reality TV or whatever it is that is fun and helps your listening. But I don't think as a beginner you get anything out of listening for hours and hours on end. I think in any case, reading is the better activity to choose, even though you should obviously never completely neglect one skill. And that's it for today. This is my updated Korean study routine. It's very simple, but it targets all the problems that beginners have, which I talk about in this video. So definitely check that out if you're curious to see what problems beginners usually have. There will be a 6-month Korean progress update video either next week or the week after that. And as always, I'll do some live reading on links so you can see how much I actually understand of the things that I'm reading, what my pronunciation is currently like, and I might also do a transcript of the K-dramas that I'm currently watching, just so you get a better idea of how much I actually understand of the things that I'm watching. I'll obviously also talk about my Anki stats and summarize my study routine again. If you have any questions for that update video or there's anything you want me to specifically talk about, then let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure to include that. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.